Hi, I'm Brett Ingram, award-winning entrepreneur, and today I want to share with you 10 marketing lessons from marketing expert Seth Godin. I'm a big believer in learning from the best. Certainly learning from people that are very good at what they do. And I think it's really important as entrepreneurs and just as people in general that we look at people that are doing things that we like to do, that we want to be better at, and that are doing it at a really high level, and then emulate them, model them, see what they do, how they do it, and learn from that so we can incorporate that into our own routine and hopefully improve at what we're doing as well. When we model what we do after those who do it at the highest level, we improve our odds of success. And Seth Godin is considered a marketing genius, a highly influential figure in the world of marketing, and he's known for thought provoking ideas, best selling books, marketing leadership, and basically the way that ideas spread. But marketing is really the thing that he's the best known for. And so I want to share some important marketing lessons that come directly from his work. And basically, there are 10 of these. So the first is to be remarkable. He says that the concept is be the purple cow, right, in the field of monochrome Holsteins, because the idea is so many people do Me Too marketing. So many people just follow sort of the herd. And because something's being done, they just follow what everybody else does. It's interesting and sort of ironic because we're talking about emulating people that do really good things. But when it becomes sort of the norm, it's not so much emulating what the mass of people do, but one particular person who does it really well. And so the lesson actually makes total sense in that context because the fact is we need to stand out in a crowded market. Any market that we're in, if it isn't crowded already, it's going to be. If there's money to be made, if there's products and services to be offered, and there are people that have needs that are unfilled, that market is going to fill up fast with competition. And so products or services that are unique, that are interesting, that are noteworthy, those kinds of things are a lot more likely to capture attention and spread. And so whether it's from our actual marketing angle itself or from our product development standpoint or whatever it is, the key point is that we want to make sure whatever we're doing so we stand out and we aren't just yet another player or yet another option for our customers. The second topic or idea is permission marketing. The idea of permission marketing, because traditionally, marketing has always been interrupt driven, right? Somebody comes and knocks on your door and they want to sell you encyclopedias. Well, whatever you're doing, they're interrupting you. You're watching a television show and an ad comes on that's interrupting you. You're listening to the radio and an ad comes on that's interrupting you. So all of that stuff was basically interruption marketing. And his basic idea is, listen, if we get buy-in from the prospects, right? If we build a relationship and we say, hey, are you okay if we send you messages? Are you okay if we share our marketing content with you? And if we send you marketing messages, what happens is as soon as somebody consents to that, their whole relationship with it changes because now instead of being somebody who's feeling sort of disillusioned by it or put upon by somebody's marketing attempts and someone trying to knock them over the head with their message, instead they basically agreed to it. And so it's more respectful and it's more effective because people actually said they're interested in what we have to offer. So in general, when we use permission marketing, we're going to see our conversion rates go up, our customer satisfaction go up. We're going to get fewer complaints, fewer arguments. Obviously, we're going to have a smaller pool to fish in, but at the same time, we're going to be able to be more effective with the people that we're targeting. He also introduced the concept of tribes, which, is a really smart idea from a marketing standpoint. In general, when we think about marketing, particularly when it was sort of old school and there wasn't the online aspect of it, it was harder to segment markets. It was harder to find a particular target market among the larger market. You either had to buy surveys or, various other things, and they had to do behavioral studies and stuff like that in order to figure out, or you had to buy a customer list from a company that was selling something similar so you knew what the people would want, right? If you're selling inflatable pool toys, then you buy a list from a pool installer, all those people own pools that are on their list. And that's the way you had to do it. Now you could slice it and dice it 100 different ways because we're online. And so there's so much data and it's so much easier to be able to segment that. And the idea of tribes is really simple. It's that what we want to do is we want to find a community of like minded people who share our passion and interest. When I started the podcast, my whole idea was I knew there were a bunch of entrepreneurs out there, but I also know there are segments of entrepreneurs. There are some that are out there sort of doing their thing and they don't have questions or whatever, and everything's going well. There are some that are just getting started and they have a lot of questions. They want to know what's going on. There are some who've been at it, but maybe they're struggling. And so, they're looking for someone to encourage them or give them advice and give them some tips. And sometimes it's hard to know where to turn. When I got started, I was all on my own. And, even the internet and all the online stuff wasn't the way that it was. So it was very hard to find somebody who would invest in you or share information with you. And so the idea was entrepreneurs that just want sort of that additional ability to connect with somebody else who's in the same game. So there's a little bit of, commonality there, sharing ideas, sharing, successes and struggles and stuff that we've done, and ultimately encouraging you to keep going because the fact is everybody has days where it's a struggle and it's important to have somebody in your corner pushing you. So by fostering and leading a tribe, brands can create loyal followers and those become advocates. And so those people will spread the word for you about your products and services and your company better than we ever could. Because the fact is, people are automatically going to distrust ads. They know that the ads are made by the company who wants to sell something. So we have an ulterior motive. We don't make ads for people's enjoyment. We make ads to sell something. And so when other people are talking about it, we're much more likely to do it. I mean, think about it. The last time somebody said to you, hey, have you ever tried this restaurant? It's really great. Or you ever go to this movie? This is an awesome, new movie. We're much more likely to, at least whether we go to see it, to believe their opinion. Now, if they were getting a kickback for it, we would feel a little bit differently. If they were an owner of the restaurant, we would feel differently. So that's basically how that works. Another concept that's really cool and clever and important is the idea of a minimum viable audience. The mistake that people make in marketing a lot of times is we feel as though the bigger the pond is that we fish in, the more fish that we're going to catch. The reality of it is, the more targeted our lure is to whatever kind of fish we want to catch, the more we're going to catch. And so it isn't so much fishing in the largest pond or having the largest universe of possible customers. It's more finding the smallest possible audience that ultimately is large enough for us to make a go of our business. We can always expand out later, but if we cater to a niche, we can tailor our offerings. We can be more precise in terms of what we're offering, and we can build stronger connections with our customers. If I'm marketing something and I have a widget and it's for, restaurant owners, as opposed to a widget that can apply to anybody, I can talk to them on their language, on their level and in their language about what it's like to own a restaurant, what the challenges are, and why this widget is so useful. If it's a universal widget that applies to everybody, it's a lot harder to do that. So the fact of the matter is, we want to be pretty smart about the way that we target our market. And then nowadays, it's much easier to be able to do that because of the fact that we have all the segmentation data already available. Another really key concept is the concept of ship. Godin emphasizes the importance of overcoming resistance and the fear of failure to just bring products to market. This is a lesson that I wish I had learned earlier on in my business than I did. Thankfully, I learned it near enough to the beginning. But when I was starting out in digital marketing, I spent the first 3 months learning. I literally wasn't doing anything. So I was becoming smart about the way marketing stuff worked, but I was just getting broker because every product I bought, every, guide that I invested in, every ebook or video course or whatever, I was spending lots of money, but I wasn't making anything because I wasn't doing anything. And when I stopped trying to learn everything first and then get started, everything changed. When I just started taking action, I just started getting things done. all of a sudden, yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. And maybe some of them I could have avoided if I learned more. But I also figured things out a lot faster because we learn best by doing. So when we're down there and we got our nose in the work and we're getting stuff done, we can see stuff in real time, make adjustments to it. And the idea of the action anyway creates momentum and that builds on itself to keep us going. So the idea with a product launch is the same idea. It's important to have a minimum viable product that at least works and that is good. We don't want to roll out something that is totally unready. But as the owner, right, we oftentimes can be perfectionists. We look at it, we see all the things that it could do, and we're thinking to ourselves, well, geez, if I just do these 6 updates and then those 6 updates and then this change and that change, the problem is twofold with that. Number one, we're sacrificing all the profit we could be making in the sales, and we're sacrificing customer feedback. If we got the product out, then we would be able to get feedback from customers to let us know. The other thing is we're guessing blindly about the product, services, features, and benefits. So we're adding cost and we're adding delay to a product that we're not even sure yet how the market's going to receive it. If we get a minimum viable product out there, our customers will tell us what's good, what's bad, and what needs to be fixed. And once we go through and we do that, then we're in a much stronger position to be able to build the next set of evolution on it. And in fact, that actually engenders customers to loyalty to us because they see we're making improvements. They see we're taking their suggestions. They actually like that. So instead of guessing and trying to get everything right before we go live, it's better to have a product we think is quality, that's good, that fills the need for the market, get it out there, and then we can get in the cycle of perpetual tweaking because we can get real-time feedback from what our customers want. Then we know the tweaks that we're making are all going to be things that are going to improve sales and are going to be value adds. So the investment is worth it because we're going to get a better return on that. Another concept that Godin talks about, and I'm very happy about this because I think this is a really important concept for every entrepreneur and actually every human being to understand. And the concept is called the dip. And basically what he's saying is, look, there's going to be a tough period in any endeavor. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're training for the Olympics in something. I don't care if you're launching a new business or a new product. I don't care if you're launching a podcast. There are going to be days where it's easy, where things are clicking along and you feel great. There are going to be days where you scratch your head and say, I don't even know why I did this. This is never going to work. I should just, have stuck with what I was doing before or gone with that other idea. But that's reality. And that happens to everybody. And it's super important that we can understand that that is a natural progression and part of achieving anything and creating anything worthwhile. And so we need to recognize it. We need to be okay with it, accept it, and push through it. Because oftentimes, here's the greatest irony about the dip is that it's crucial for success. Because usually after the dip is when we get our breakthrough. It's when we achieve mastery. I can speak to this personally because I was email marketing is a big part of what I do. And I was going along for years with very few problems, occasional ups and downs. But my email marketing was very robust, very solid, predictable, profitable. And part of the reason for that is because everybody on my list is a buyer. They're all are purchasers of products. I don't have any general leads. They're all people that have bought my products. And so my results when I mail to the list is usually very good. And all of a sudden at one point, it started to really dip. It started to really, to use the phrase, right? It started to really tank actually. And I went from, getting X number of opens and clicks and that translating into a certain amount of sales to literally almost like somebody turning the faucet off. It almost went down to zero. And it was over a very short period of time, maybe a week or two. And I was stunned. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Well, I didn't know a lot about email marketing. And I was in a panic because it was a really, dependable income stream that I count on in my business so I can process everything else. And the fact of the matter is it dried up on me. So I started to really panic and get really nervous about it. And I wondered, what's going on here? Am I still going to be able to make this go? Is email marketing not working anymore? Well, once I relaxed, took a deep breath and stepped back to analyze it, I realized there were 4 or 5 things that had come up that were problems, some of which I could have foreseen and probably prevented, but others I could not. But after I analyzed them all, I was able to figure out what went wrong. I was able to fix that and put it back together in a way that not only was it as good as it was, but it was even better because now I was galvanized and protected against the same things happening again. And so, again, this cycle plays it out over and over and over again with businesses. And it's really important not to give up just because we hit a little bit of a dip or a little bit of a downturn or a challenge. Sort of aligned with that is the next strategy or idea, and that is embrace failure. You know, it's really important that we embrace failure as part of the process of innovation and learning. Nobody goes into anything where they're trying to create something new and does it completely risk free and letter perfect the first time. It just doesn't happen. What happens generally is we get in with an idea. By the time we're done, we come out the other side with the idea up and running. It's already gone through 6 different changes. It may not even look the way that it did initially, and we might be onto something totally different. But the fact of the matter is, we have to embrace the failure, embrace the risk, and understand that that's all part of it. It's not the fact that we fail or the fact that there's risk. It's what we do with it that matters. We need to look at failure as an opportunity to learn and grow. If each time we have a problem, if each time we do something and it doesn't work out the way we wanted, we analyze that and say, okay, what did we do? What did we do here? What result did we get? What changes could we make to change the result? And then we try something new. That's growth. That's development. And that is something that will lead to innovation and progress. Another huge important idea in marketing is tell authentic stories. I've been beating this drum for a while here. Storytelling is a very powerful tool in marketing. And the fact of the matter is, I believe that with the advent of AI, it will become even more so because AI now can write all of the sterile, sort of, grammatically correct stuff that we want in terms of content. But AI can't tell our personal stories because AI doesn't live them. AI doesn't know what our background is. So in an era now where everything is going to become copycat and machine generated, storytelling is going to be the differentiator. It's going to be the thing that ultimately gets authenticity out there, that is going to bond people to us. And that is going to help our marketing. It's going to help our brand. It's going to help our company and our business. And it's going to help us bond with our customers in a way that we can resonate with our messages more deeply with our audience. We can foster a stronger emotional connection. And that's super important when we're trying to brand, especially in a very competitive market. Another concept that's really important and valuable is to focus on the edges. Okay, so what we mean by this is instead of trying to cater to the average person in whatever audience, right? It's the flanks, it's the edges where the opportunity lies. Because those are the people that are less likely to be served as well. They might be stuffed into a box because it's the best option they've got. But if we can market to the edges, right? Whether it's an economic edge of a higher end product, a lower end product, maybe it's different feature set, maybe it's a different industry or a different use case for our product. But if we market to the edges, those are the people who are going to be the most passionate and they're going to have unique needs. And so if we are able to bring them in, if we are able to satisfy their needs and meet them where they need what we offer, then they're more likely to become advocates and influencers for our brand. And as we talked about already, we already know that the best advertising we're ever going to get is word of mouth when other people talk about us, not us talking about ourselves. Another concept that, again, I've been on this one for a long time is that change is constant, right? In the digital age, the only constant is change. The fact of the matter is it's adapt or die. Godin says adaptability and the willingness to evolve with changing markets is vital to success. Changing technologies, changing consumer behaviors. If you want enduring success, if you want something that lasts more than, hey, I did a launch and it did really well, 6 months later I'm out of business, then we need to be adaptable because whatever worked today may not work tomorrow. I've seen that in my own business play out over and over and over again. Just when I get to a place of stability where I think everything is set and stable, and now I can just sort of put things a little bit on autopilot and start working on some new stuff, wham, there's a new technological change, there's a new market change, there's an economic change. All of those things affect us. And all of those things we need to be ready to adapt to because someone in our competition is going to. So if we don't, they're going to take our market share. Each of these lessons, right, reflects Godin's overarching philosophy that effective marketing isn't just about selling products, but about creating meaningful connections, leading change, and making an impact in our market. So the takeaway here is that marketing is an essential skill for every entrepreneur. We need to market ourselves to our market, to our team, and to our investors if we need them. And we need to market our products and services and our company to our prospects and our customers. The better we become at doing that, the more effective and successful we'll be as entrepreneurs and business owners.